really interesting presentation. So I was really intrigued, and I really liked how you simulated these event occurrences for counterfactuals. That was interesting, and I think, from my understanding, if you could just explain it a little bit more. So what that added is you were able to piece out the effects of enrollment and level and duration of education. So that's my one question. And then maybe in relation to this, maybe this isn't possible with census data, but it might be possible with linkage. Would you be able to use that technique to look at what they've studied? So we know that, the duration and level, it's actually if you study to be a teacher or healthcare or things like that that lead you to that job, it has very different relationships. Garrett and I and other people have studied this, with transitions to first and second birth.
Okay, two very relevant and interesting questions, as I would have guessed. The first part on counterfactuals is, I think, a very interesting way of going about it, because if you look at second births, for instance, the risk sets, or the people that you have at risk of having a second child throughout this long time period, are of course determined by earlier events. And so what we now do is look at parity distributions, say in 1960, and then we basically simulate event occurrence, and we also generate the risk sets of people becoming at risk of future events. And that allows us to distinguish how changes, how economic context is already conditioning transition into a higher order work by making that people become at risk at older ages, even without looking into specific economic effects for those types of transitions. So I think that really allows us to piece in more factors into the story and checking whether that could actually generate the observed trends. Then the second part is educational field. We do have information in the entire census. That might be more difficult to use in a retrospective way, but we could use it prospectively by looking to register data. And it's one of these desired dimensions of education in short, that I've been wanting to use next to level enrollment and duration since to see whether adding in some information on field would actually make a difference controlled for these other dimensions.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Do you know already from your current, from what's going on now, from what you're working on now, or do you have some intuitions maybe, whether or how the results that you obtained for the 2001 census change or have changed more recently, whether what we see is very a picture of the past, but it's still, valuable.
Well, the proof of the pudding is in the eating, as I've been told. So I don't know, really. I think that up to 2014-15, the results would seem very consistent with the models that we have now, because actually the variation in the covariates that serve as input into the models are very consistent with what we had in previous periods. It's only like the recent couple of years where we've had a decline in fertility, which might be less consistent with the model that we have, because basically the variation in unemployment rates doesn't seem to match up that well. But it's actually something that we'll have to look into in the next couple of months, I guess.
Looking forward.
Me too.
Another question?
Thank you very much for that. Could you say a bit more about how the link between childcare provision and the education effect works out? I mean, is this municipal childcare, are municipalities deciding what they're going to spend on childcare? Are they responding to demand? Or are people moving into areas where they think the childcare provision will be good? What kind of processes are generating that association?
Good question. Well, basically, municipalities are providing childcare, but are basically lagging behind relative to demand, and so there's a shortage relative to the demand for childcare. With respect to selective migration, we've looked into that, and we've rerun the analysis on people who didn't change municipalities in the preceding 5 to 10 year period, and really that didn't alter the effect. So it's suggesting that it's not like a selective migration or internal migration sort of thing. What is a very important part is that given that there's a shortage of childcare, it's very important to register for childcare early on. And so the moment that you know that you are going to have a child, you really need to register in 10 places at once to hope that one will materialize by the time that you actually have a child. And obviously higher educated are much better in going or reeling and dealing with the system than lower educated would be. So that is, the uptake is partially related to that. It's also related to different employment opportunities, and given the shortage, there are priority rules for people who actually have jobs. And so that makes it difficult for lower educated people who typically have very unstable employment trajectories to have access to childcare, and basically pushes them out of the labor market. So these are all very important aspects, and of course then there's the logical effect that we would expect. If higher educated dual earners have access to childcare, it allows them to keep on have a dual income, and that contributes to the positive educational gradient in progression to second birth that I was just discussing.
Any other pressing question? Okay, otherwise we'll just move to the next paper.
Thank you very
Karel.
much.